All right.
Let's do it.
All right, mate.
All right. All right. Should we do it all like that, mate? Should we do it episode like that,
I
mate?
don't think I
Let's do it,
can.
mate.
Maybe you could.
Go on, mate. Go on. Go on.
I'm not
Oh,
from
we're recording.
them sides.
I don't know what side you are from.
I don't know. My accent's just neutral UK accent.
That's what you think, but
You
oh
never
my
know.
God, they lied to me. The font that they said I was gonna get was not the one that ended up being downloaded. See, I got tricked by the
So
system.
what were
The
you
Matrix
saying
got me.
about fonts being assets?
So you asked me,
Yeah.
have I ever paid for a font before?
Yeah.
And I said, I can't recall, but I've definitely paid for digital assets,
Okay.
such as
In general.
texture packs, such as Photoshop shortcuts, such as gradient maps, lots of different things like logos or badges and emblems and vector packs and lots of different things that you can use to design. Instead of making something from scratch, someone else would have already made something that you might want to use, and you can go on Gumroad as one example, or Creative Market, or lots of other places.
Envato
And
Elements.
I'm not just saying
is
this
the one
because,
I know.
yeah, I'm not just saying this because people can might want to download this stuff. But I was saying people could sell their own digital products.
Yeah.
You know?
Some of these, like if we go to fonts, for example, I'm just on Envato, and I'll just sort by popular. Okay, so this is like one of the popular ones. How many? I think it says how many have bought this or downloaded it. It's not saying it here.
Yeah.
But sometimes you do see big numbers there, hundreds of thousands. I don't know. I always feel like it's one of those ones where there are 20% of people getting 80% of the sales kind of thing, and then there are like loads of people that are not getting anything out of it, even though they might have put quite a bit of work.
Yeah, there's definitely ways and means of getting eyes on. Like Gumroad, you'll find a lot of people will sell quote unquote things for free or pay what you think it's worth, but you can pay literally nothing.
Yeah.
That will put you onto a mailing list, which you can then use later on. I mean, if I had disposable income, I would definitely be buying a lot of the stuff I see because I'm a bit of an addict.
But I thought there are a lot of places where you just pay monthly and you get unlimited assets.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it depends what you're. Depends if you're like a fan of a particular creator or you want to just support them or whatever it is.
I think Gumroad is that kind of thing, right? It's like a personal brand thing where it's like I'm buying from this specific person, whereas Envato is like just marketplace. Like there are thousands of people. Just you don't really care who you're buying from. It's just what you're buying. More like.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. At least on the graphic design world, there's like if you follow particular creators on Instagram or their work in their link tree or whatever, you'll find lots of different
packs,
links to their profile. Yeah, but they might be selling packs and stuff. I mean, I trialed it out with the Midjourney tutorial thing that I put together. That was like a proof of concept already for me, and it did really well. And then on top of that, I stacked a few other like prompt packs, which did reasonably well. So yeah, proof of concept. If you've got a personal brand or whatever it is, digital products are definitely a way to go if you can add value or offer value. 100%.
I was tempted. I've seen a lot of ads for prompt packs for ChatGPT, and I was never really tempted. But recently, I've been thinking about it, like because I'm sure for some of the tasks I'm doing, like there'll be like one prompt that would like get a sick outcome for me, but so I've been kind of not tempted to buy. Like first, I'm in the Googling stage first, right? If I don't find anything good there, then I might buy. But also, I started asking ChatGPT like, what prompt would I need to give you to get this kind of outcome?
Yeah.
So it's like you make your own prompt, mate.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. Some people are like absolute super users though, so you can tell that the way they're using it is on just another level.
Yes.
And to save yourself time, you could just bypass the whole exploration phase.
For sure. And I'm sure these are cheap, right? Maybe maximum $50 for some prompts.
Yeah, this is it. Like I mean, let me see mine. Mine was a couple of quid, if not free. I think a lot of, if you bought the tutorial, you get it for free. If not, it was like, yeah, a couple of quid for like
Okay.
30,
So even less. Yeah.
something like that.
Mm,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, bro, I don't know, I've just been thinking about this recently. Like, the whole consumeristic, materialistic society. I wanted to ask you have you ever got tempted by that whole thing of like, buy this to show this type of status? You know what I mean?
Mm.
At any time in your life, like you're wearing a Levi's t-shirt right now. I don't know if that's like accident or did you buy that for status or?
I think someone bought this for me.
Okay.
My mum's in the room. Shall I ask her? Mum,
Yeah.
do you know who bought me this t-shirt?
She did.
Did you buy me this t-shirt? I know I didn't buy it for myself. Somebody bought it for me. Yeah, it could have been my in-laws. Could have been. I think it might have been one of my in-laws.
So
yeah,
when you wear that, it's like branded. I don't know where Levi's is in the hierarchy. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Yeah.
but when you wear that, is it for you? Is that like similar to just a plain t-shirt or?
Yeah, this is just what was available for the day. You know
No, but
what I mean?
when you wear it, do you feel a bit different in it, or it's nothing to you?
Not particularly. I think Levi's I associate with quality, like jeans. If I see Levi's jeans somewhere, even if it's like secondhand or whatever, I'm like, okay, those are good quality. Like I've got a jacket actually. I think it was secondhand or something. But when I came across it, I realized it was a Levi's jacket. I was like, oh, this will last me quite a while. As opposed to other denim jackets I've had, which aren't any brand that I can think of, and they haven't really lasted, right? But other than that, answering your question, I think only when I was around 18, 19, 20, that kind of time, 18, 19 maybe, because a lot of my friends at the time were very much into that. But before that, not at all. And after that, not at all. Do you know what I mean? I had a
Nothing.
not really at all. Honestly, I had a few years of, because a lot of the friends I had at that time were very much into like Ralph Lauren polos, G-Star jeans, True Religion, all that kind of stuff. I kind of dabbled in it for a bit. I got a few Ralph Lauren polo t-shirts, and then all Louis Vuitton this and Gucci that, and then it kind of just died off very quickly when I stopped hanging out with those people. Like today, I'm going abroad next week, inshallah, and I needed some t-shirts. I went to Primark, bro, and it was like £2.50 for some plain t-shirts each. And I was like, sweet, yeah, why do I need anything else? So yeah, absolutely. What about you? I wouldn't consider you having that kind of I don't know, history.
Inclination. Yeah. When I was growing up, I knew nothing about brands and stuff. Like I was kind of sheltered from that. But I think it's often like that when you're younger. When I was like 15, 16, some of my friends that they moved to the UAE from the UK, so they were recently coming over. They kind of brought some ideas with them, I guess. So they kind of introduced me to, I don't know if you remember Evisu.
I'm not sure.
Evisu, Japanese jeans brand. Yeah. You might recognize the logo. Those were you know what those days were? Those were the Ed Hardy days.
Oh right, yeah.
And I never, never got into that. That's like ugly. What the hell? I got some Evisu jeans, but they're fake, of course. So it's not even one of those ones where, bro, I didn't even know. Like each one of these brands, like more premium luxury brands, or whatever, they have they're connected to a subculture, right?
Right.
Whether it's high luxury, high fashion, whether it's more street stuff, whatever, bro. I couldn't tell you what a Evisu is. It's just the jeans were decent. So I just became aware of these kind of ideas, but it wasn't like I was into it. There was a phase just before that, actually, I think, where I think the UAE was more like directly influenced by US culture. So it was very soon to follow after whatever gets big in the US, right? Like maybe a bit maybe UK had a bit of its own. Obviously, it has US influence, but it had a bit of its own culture in that sense. So there was a phase of shiny jeans, like literally like reflective. Do you remember that?
Maybe vaguely.
It was like baggy jeans and they're like shiny, bro.
Maybe, yeah.
So I bought those, but that was just because that's what there was pretty much. I was always into like looser clothes as well, and that was like all there was. So like when the fashion went to tighter stuff, I never jumped on that. So no, I was never really into this stuff, but I have been recently feeling the strings tugging at me.
Oh,
But not like maybe for some brands, but not so much with this like clothing and brand stuff. It's more like, I don't know, maybe watches.
I was going to say watches. There you go. I thought,
Maybe
you know what?
watches.
He wants to get something on his wrist.
But I'm not even really into watches, right? And I think, you know what
Yeah.
triggered this? You know what triggered this? Because I identify as someone who's like very sensible with money. Okay. So
Right.
Shaitan can't use that gateway of like, yeah, flex on them with the watch, right? That's not
Right.
going to work
Yeah.
with me. So the way it started was, I'd been hearing that these luxury watches, they're good investments. So that's how I was like interested. I was like, that's interesting, because also I'm like, I've got nowhere to invest money. It's all like everywhere I turn, it's like haram, yani everywhere.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, watch is halal, you know. But then I was always thinking like, I'll buy a Rolex, but I won't wear it. I don't want to wear it. I don't like wearing watches per se. But what like it does tug at you a bit, bro. To be honest, so it does tug at me a little bit. But
Well, let
you
me
know,
ask you then,
yeah.
is there people in your circle or vicinity that actually are engaged in that as well? And is that kind of leading you to want to
No,
compete
to
a
be
bit?
honest, bro, like, yeah, most people that I'm in touch with and I hang out with, they couldn't afford it anyway.
No.
So
Okay.
it'd be like yeah, there's no competition in that sense or peer pressure, or it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
it would actually make me look bad if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
If people on like, you know, whatever average income's normal, and then you come with a Rolex, it's a bit distasteful, perhaps. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, depending. But I mean, actually, there's one guy, I don't know him very well. I just see him around, say Salam. I think he wears a Rolex, but Rolexes can be on the cheaper side sometimes as well. And there's a lot of fake Rolexes in Turkey as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it did just make me think about how deep and how dumb this whole status thing is. It's like you will literally buy something that you deep down know it's kind of a bad use of money, and you might not even enjoy it yourself, but you'll do that to feel whatever status thing is, right? That's my
Yeah.
case. That's my case, because I don't enjoy watches. If I enjoyed watches, I'm into watches. I wouldn't feel bad about it at all, especially because it holds its value and stuff. But like, even though I'm not into watches, and I know it's not like, it's not the amazing use of money, it's like it's still, you know, tugging a little bit, you know, and that's kind of wild to me. That's wild. But it shows you like everyone is after status. Even, you know, you go on Instagram and there's someone taking a quick selfie with the Kaaba behind them. We don't know their intention, but I'm sure some of the times the intention there is to show your status. What's your status? It's that, oh, I'm a Umrah, or I can afford to go Umrah, or depending what, we don't know, Yani,
Okay.
what the intention is, but it can be that. And so status is not just about material wealth or brands and this stuff. It could be anything. It could be anything. It could be talking about, I don't know, I got a second wife. It could be, I got, my son was born. It could, whatever, bro, innit? But it's
Yeah,
all
brilliant.
status. It's all different shapes and forms of status. Let me think if there might be another one.
Yeah, I suppose it's something to be mindful of, because there are a lot of things like that that you may have that you don't realize. Like, for example, I've got 3 sons, and I know that there are people in my circle that really want sons. They might have children, they might only have girls,
Yeah.
but they really, really want sons.
Yeah.
And to them, I think it's also like a status symbol as well. To me, because it wasn't like, of course, it's hard work having children, etc. But because I had no choice in the matter, I don't consider it something I worked hard for just to specifically have sons. Of course, I've worked hard to raise and maintain children, but
Yeah,
I had to be
but that's all
mindful of
you
the
know
fact.
as well. You only have sons, innit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And obviously, yeah, I have to be mindful of the fact. Although desperately, I would want a daughter, but do I consider that like a status thing? I don't think so. But I think sons are considered more in some cultures as a status symbol. Wallahu alam.
Even marriage, like just being married, holds a certain status thing, you know?
Yeah,
Whether it's just to be able to say when people ask you, "Oh yeah, I am married," like
yeah,
sometimes that's like a sometimes you see it in front of you. Two people, they just met each other maybe or not long ago. As like, "Are you married?" Yes, okay, and you just see like a virtual tick being, a box
yeah. You're
being
right.
ticked, like
Yeah,
okay. So, oh, okay. So you're like a real man, or you're mature, or whatever you yani, would come
mm,
to think.
mm.
So yeah, or even for yourself, or like the way your parents treat you. It's like your status would change just by getting married sometimes. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's
I
pretty
think that's a big
interesting.
one that goes, it goes under the radar. Is just being married, having children, being a father. That in itself is such a heavy weight of status that compared to a vast majority of people, you don't realize you've got it. You don't realize you've got something over people,
Yeah.
experience, a responsibility, etc. Um, you
And
know,
bro, people flex their marriage online a lot as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Or yeah, I guess so. Especially from the angle of showing off their spouse, But that's something even in Jahiliyyah with non-Muslims, for example, like the trophy wife or the trophy girlfriend or whatever it is,
Yeah.
plastering them all over. Or it was like I had one once in my old job where I had obviously I had some colleagues on my phone contacts list, and one of them, his profile picture on WhatsApp was his wife, just his wife, not even him and his wife. So it looked really strange when my wife was going like, over my shoulder or going for my contacts, and I'm like, I had to explain to her, I was like, listen, I promise you, this is so and so. He works with me, but for some reason, he's got a picture of his wife as his profile picture, which was really strange to me, like very very strange. Um, but yeah, that's
Did
another
you have plastic surgery
episode.
by any chance?
No, 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 no. It was
Okay.
just weird. I just found it really strange, even for a non-Muslim to. I could imagine, yeah, you and your wife, but
Yeah,
just to
yeah.
have your wife, just a bit odd for a grown man.
But you see,
But
that's something very normal, right? To have maybe a picture of you and your wife as your thing. But even that, it's, if you really think about it, it's flexing.
yeah, yeah, 100%. No, 100%.
It's bro, I don't know. It's so weird. It's
But we all
so.
do it,
I know
Like,
exactly,
okay,
but it's
there's
like
a
one of those things we all
psychology.
do. We all do, but it's so weird when you think about it.
Yeah, there is a psychology of just profile pictures in general.
Uh
Like,
huh.
what goes into deciding or picking a profile picture? Is
Yeah.
it all to do with appearance? Do I look good in this lighting? Who am I looking good for? What's the purpose of it? Am I
Yeah.
smiling? Am I not smiling? What kind of first impression am I going to give off to random people?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then obviously the accessories with that profile picture. For example, people take profile pictures in their car. People take profile pictures with their watch showing. People take profile pictures
Mm.
in a particular location. Um, and it's always fascinated me, like the decisions that people go to. People, take ones where they pretend that they're like, what's the word? Uh, you know, uh, I forgot the word I'm looking for, but obviously they don't. They're pretending like they don't know there's a photo being taken of
Candid.
them.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the word. That's what I'm looking for. Stuff like that. Yeah, it's all like a big psychology around it.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I find it quite
What does yours say
interesting.
about you? Is yours the scorpion?
No, it was. At the moment, it's probably just. I think it's one that my wife took for me. It had very good lighting, so I used it. You know, but I have gone between. I'll be honest. I've gone between like one of me smiling and one of me not smiling. you
Okay.
know,
Hmm.
and it was interesting because there was this big thing that Daniel Haqiqaju came on Twitter and he was ranting about ulama or shuyukh or da'is like smiling in photos,
Mm.
and I was like, what have we run out of things to criticize people for? But then I
Mm.
started going down this rabbit hole of like, um, you know, just being too smiley or being whatever. I don't know. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
just being
Like,
smiley just to spite him, yeah?
yeah. So I don't know. So sometimes I go through different phases, but I don't think you've had that problem too much. You haven't necessarily had social media for a long time. I know you do now, but I'm sure
I
you
think,
must
bro,
have thought about it.
when I was on Twitter, and it was called Twitter then, I can't remember exactly, but I was definitely flexing as much as
Yeah.
possible. I would I would say as much as possible. It's just not in the traditional way, but I don't, I don't doubt that. I think I was, you know what my weakness is. You know, some people they show off money or women or whatever it is. People show differently. My weakness is showing that I'm like different.
Ah, yeah.
That's what I think,
The
Yani.
uniqueness.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. So that's like if you ever see me doing that in a picture or whatever, it's like, okay, you can catch me out on that. It's like, oh yes, now you're flexing. That's what you think status is.
We're gonna have to show the people, bro.
What are you showing?
We're we have to show them your public profile. We have to assess this one. We're gonna break this profile
Oh,
picture down.
where did you get this from? Oh, this is Twitter.
This is on your Twitter.
That's funny.
This is public, bro. This is nothing private here. This is
Yeah, you're
all for
right.
everyone to see.
You're right. I just remembered this.
So
What do
what
you
does this
think
one mean?
about this?
You flexing your finger. What's that?
Yeah, you tell me. I don't know. What does it?
It says that you're a, you're a skeptic.
Well, that's a
You're
weird
thinking
photo.
about it, you know.
Yeah,
Because
I
you didn't
think.
even go for the one with the, fingers to the temple. You did it
Yeah.
straight for the lips, like, but
Shut
not like
up.
telling me to shush. You're like,
Okay.
like you're disappointed.
Look at the eyebrows, bro. What's up with that? It's like a
Calm down.
frown, full on frown.
God, why are you saying this stuff like you're not the one who picked it? Unless
Yeah,
was it one
no,
of
you
your
know what?
employees?
I think I picked the wrong ones. Now that I'm seeing it, I'm like, what's going on here? No, to be honest, bro, I don't really have many photos of myself at all. But I
Yeah.
actually I took a load of photos. Oh, what's happened? Wait, let me do this and then do this. I took a load of photos, all in one time, one location, and it was just for thumbnails for YouTube.
Right.
And that was one of them, I guess. And so I just got
That
this
must have been
folder, and they're all very
hilarious.
similar.
Would have loved to
Yeah,
see you recording yourself trying to do that. Taking
yeah, I
100
guess that is
photos,
kind of funny to
different
think about.
poses back to back.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I was probably doing that fully. It's like one like that, one
Yeah.
like that, one like this, one like, whatever, Yadi. But yeah, so I don't have many to choose from. But that one, yeah, maybe that one was by accident. But part of the reason I use that is because I think the lighting was good, so it's like high quality. That's all I can. That's all the analysis I can do on that, really.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
But I think, yeah, when I was on Twitter, I was very much. It's like, oh, everyone thinks that way about marriage or mahar or these topics that come up, and now I'm going to be the
Yeah.
contrarian. Yeah, I think that's what I prided myself on. That's what I pride myself on. I mean, until today, I would say until today. It's good to know yourself, I guess.
Well, we've got to be real with ourselves. That's what it's all about, social media, isn't it? On every level. No matter what you're doing on social media, what's the point of you doing it if there isn't anyone consuming the content? And how will you consume more content but make yourself appear more appealing, attractive, intellectual, articulate, whatever the positive adjectives you want?
What's
Yeah.
what's
And we
your
all fall
thing?
into it in certain.
Like, if you're gonna flex on people,
What's my what?
what would your way of doing that be?
Good question. I literally posted a photo of my 3 kids, although their faces are blurred. So maybe that's what it is.
Yeah,
Maybe
I would
that's what it
agree.
is.
You posted one. I don't know if you did it on Twitter, but on Facebook, it was like you with the pram and your kids, and
Oh yeah, we went out recently in London. So that was that one. Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
that. Like,
But you know what?
what's
It's
your
because
thinking about that? Is it like I'm a
I
good
think
dad, or is it like I've got kids, or like what's?
it's
This
to
is actually very
remind
sensitive, but
people.
yeah.
No, yeah, no. It's a good question. I think on Twitter at least, because I will speak and I'll say things and I'll tweet things from a perspective of like, okay, I've got experience in certain areas. Like I'm not an idiot. I know what I'm talking about in certain things, right? For example, we got a critique on last episode about some stuff about autism or whatever we said. I read that comment earlier today. I was thinking, well, I'm free as a parent to have that judgment on my child to assess whether he's autistic or a personality trait. The criticism was basically like we were dismissive of real diagnosis. I didn't say that. I don't think we either said that. I think if you listen to the podcast, we clearly said that a real heavy diagnosis is going to hit you in the face, and we're not dismissing that. But we can't discount the fact that certain things that we're going to be hypochondriacs about could just be personality traits. You know, that's me speaking as a parent. It's me speaking as a parent because I don't want to rush every time my son shows some sign of something. Oh, he's got this condition. Right, that's it. You've got this condition now. Your fate is sealed. No, that's all I'm saying. So, yeah, I think it's to remind people that, you know, I'm a 30-year-old man with 3 kids, and I'm not, you know, I've had some level of life experience that a lot of youngsters may not have. And it's like it's you know, I guess it's branding, isn't it? It's like branding your online presence.
Yeah.
What are you about? What, you know, there's people that you can tell from a few posts on their Twitter or Instagram. Oh, this is a gym guy, fitness guy. I really want to get my, you know, fitness up, whatever. I'm going to follow this guy, motivate me, inspire me. He's got the knowledge, etc. I can DM him for if I've got a question about something. We did that with the hormone episode, blood work, because I'd followed a few people that they were taught, you know, medical experts, this and that, whatever. I'm a father, I'm a parent. That's kind of my main function in life at the moment. People message me about marriage and thingy, kids and raising kids and all sorts of stuff. So it's kind of that, you know, that's my personal brand at the moment. That my main thing is being a father and a parent and the responsibility. And in a world of, or a social media world of like red pill, matrix, masculinity, whatever. I mean, Mind Heist, we talk about it all the time. I'd like to think that me and you we've got some level of leverage that over other, you know, thinkers and speakers who are young and inexperienced, who talk about women. Like, how many times, bro, do you open Twitter and there's a bachelor talking about women? Like, how many women do you know apart from your mother and sister? Like, what do you mean women are X and women
your
do this and women want this?
Scarred you.
Yeah, because exactly, because I've noticed that a lot. I'm like, whoa, slow down. Women want women. What women? Have you lived with women? How many women have you been married to? Or is it just the women of your past or from Jahiliyyah or whatever? Well, that's not necessarily indicative of a healthy, normal relationship for you to base all your understanding on a potential Muslim wife as, or a spouse as, right? You know, and then when you're actually married and you're actually married to a decent, God-fearing Muslim woman, certain things that you might have picked up from, you know, I don't know, what do you call them, like pickup artists or whatever, that kind of sphere of advice isn't going to work, isn't the same. Although certain things do. You know, I tweeted the other day, for example, something along the lines of like every marriage should have a certain level of push and pull with your spouse. You shouldn't be too kind all the time. It shouldn't be too harsh because you want to keep things interesting. You want to keep, like my dad said, keep them on their toes.
The love doctor.
Yeah. The love guru, the love doctor. You know it, baby. But this is from experience. You know, this is from experience. I mean, I can say this because I've got the experience now. But if you're 18, 19, 20, saying, oh, women want this and women are like this and women, you know, and your wife should be this and whatever. Maybe, but who are you? You know, Allahu A'lam. One could fight back.
How many women have you been married to, bro?
Exactly. I was going to say, you could clap back and say, well, you've only been married to one woman. What do you know about all women? I was like, what does anyone know about all women? 90% of people have only married one woman, unless they're going to, you know, be talking from experiences of, you know, promiscuity and not marriage. I'm going from woman to woman to woman. That's a different story. Then your goal and your end objective is completely different to mine. I want to be married, and I want to be with my wife till, well, forever. If we're going to talk about Jannah, you know, that's my perspective. That's what I'm working towards. You do you, right? And I'm sure you're the same. I'm sure you're the same. But you know what I'm talking about. What's your opinion?
Some people have multiple wives, and they have more than 4 wives in a lifetime sometimes. They would probably have a lot of experience.
There are some brothers on Twitter that definitely flex that, you know,
Really,
to
yeah.
the point where I was like, how is this happening? You know, there's a brother, and I'm not going to mention his name or whatever, and he's very open about this. So if you know him, you know him. But his wives are on Twitter as well as he is, and he's always like tweeting at them, and they're tweeting at him, and all this sort of stuff. And it's always these inside jokes and whatever, and it's all for everyone to see. And I'm like, this is a flex.
Get a room.
This is a flex.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, this is a flex. You know.
Did I ever tell you this?
He,
there's a guy I know here, Palestinian guy. He's got 2 wives, yeah, mashallah. And he had 2 kids within a month of each other, like one from each wife. And I was like, how how the babies, everything all right? He's like, yeah. And then he said, yeah, they're born with like within a month of each other. I was like, oh, nice, wow, never thought of that, Yanni, before. And then he just said to me, like, he doesn't really speak English, but he said to me,
oh, okay.
He's speaking in Arabic, and then he said to me, 2 production lines.
Yeah, we need to get the clips out again. That's a clip, bro. Yeah, man.
Never forget that.
Of course. You know what? That's always a flex among men in many circles. It's like, oh, Sheikh so and so. Actually, he's sitting there like, how do you know that? Like, because I know him. I hear that all the time. It would just be some sheikh who might have done a talk, and obviously his private life's private, but certain people know.
So it's a flex to even know that he's got multiple.
It's like even knowing. Oh my god.
Well, that's like a a talib al-ilm kind of flex. It's like, yeah, I know the sheikh more than you know the sheikh. I know his personal stuff more than you. I had dinner with the sheikh in his office. I think I've used that flex before, bro.
Well,
yeah.
I was going to ask you, leading on from this, do you think that you've ever been afflicted with jealousy to a level, around this sort of stuff? Do you consider yourself susceptible to jealousy?
I think I'm one of the least who would fall into that. I can't say I have. I did notice, Yanni, when I started using Instagram recently, like, I could see how that can happen. It didn't feel like jealousy. It felt more like the thing people always talk about, which is you just feel like you're behind, or you feel like you're not, achieving enough, or those kind of things that people always mention.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see that happening to myself. But jealousy specifically, like, I see someone, I'm like, whatever you would say, oh, I want that. Why do I have that? I don't know. Can't really see that.
Yeah.
I think I spent many years already, like, quote unquote behind in life, like I literally was like low status for a long time, from whatever age where people might perceive you should have achieved something, like, let's say 21 or something. From 21 to 26, I was not really making money and not really married and none of those kind of status things. So I was like, maybe that's part of the reason why I don't even play those games now. Like, I got out of those games. It's like, I'm not even going to compete in those games. Khalas, I lost that game, And then by the time I caught up, quote unquote, I was like in my own circle or whatever anyway already. And I didn't have social media or whatever at the time. So yeah, I don't think jealousy, to be honest, bro. It's maybe I'll just think like, that guy doing that thing, I can do that. Why am I not doing that? I should be doing that. But that's not jealousy, is it?
Yeah. It depends how you define it, I guess, isn't it?
But it's not like it's not like I don't want them to have it, or I want exactly what they have. No, I always have this thing of like, I've got my lane and within my lane, yes, I want to achieve what I want to achieve in that lane. If people are also in that lane, yes, but not many people are in the exact same lane, right? Which is the case for most of us, I think. We've all got slightly different things we want. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's wanting to strip that person from that thing and take it for yourself is probably the most extreme form of jealousy, or it could be the most definitive form of jealousy. That is what jealousy is.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. What about you?
Yeah. No, likewise. Yeah, I don't want to sound big-headed or full of myself, but I don't know. Like I said, I have never felt like that, where I'd want to strip someone away from something or feel like they don't deserve it. Or see, saying they don't deserve it might be different, because there's certain people you see that they may have achieved something through illegitimate means, right? Whether it's money, status, whatever. You know, you might see someone like a scam artist who's got a fancy car or whatever. Is me saying, well, they don't deserve that because they scam people out of that? Is that me being jealous? Certain behaviors are fueled through jealousy as well. I was listening to Mufti. He was, I don't know if he was being interviewed, but he did like a podcast episode with Tom, Sheikh Tom, I can't pronounce his last name, Fashin?
Some Italian thing.
Okay. From America, though.
Yeah.
It was on his
I listened to that
YouTube
episode.
channel. Yeah, I listened to it yesterday, I think, or the day before. And he was talking about, even like as a student of knowledge, when he was studying in Medina, he was amazed that the jealousy that could brew between students of knowledge and even some shuyukh and ulama, right? And he said, you know, as awful as that sounds, we're all human, so we're all susceptible to sin. And that's reality, you know, that's the reality. So yeah, even in circles like that and in arenas like that, jealousy causes enmity between people. And I've personally seen Mufti being attacked for things that he claims, well, this is actually really coming out of jealousy because we're all believing the same thing. So what's going on here? And it seems to indicate, he seems to indicate that this has been a long running thing since he was in Medina, right? And it's kind of followed him until this day. So I'm sure it exists, you know, everywhere. And if you could be jealous like that, where you're actually attacking the person or trying to find faults in the person perpetually or whatever, then yeah, I can imagine. You have people attacking you online, I'm sure. I don't know. Well, I don't know about you, but I've definitely had it before where I'm like, well, actually, I think this is probably coming out of some sort of jealousy, right? We had one the other day. Maybe I can find it on Twitter. I posted the clip from a Freshly Grounded episode I did. I was a bit flabbergasted. I don't even want to give this guy airtime. But the clip was like, I was essentially talking about, if you have a disagreement with your wife, basically go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the quick version. Go back to Allah, think about what Allah would want between you, and then go with that. You know, and then no one can argue, right? What would Allah want in the situation? That's essentially it. Some guy got involved. The only criticism I got on the whole thing, and it was like, oh, if you've got to bring Allah's name into an argument with your wife, then you're a bad husband, and you're trying to force your interpretation, and
all of that.
You're not a man. Yeah, you're not a man. I was like, what are you talking about?
Was that a guy that said that?
Yeah, it was some guy, and I was like, what? Where is this coming from? That's not what I said.
That's a baggage coming.
You've just you brought all this context from your own life and just thrown it. Like, how do you know I'm imposing, and what context do you think I'm talking about, and whatever. Yeah, it was like, oh, it was like he said, I come across as someone who's always losing an argument. So I mean, what do you mean always? Like, this is one clip. You don't even follow me. I don't even know who you are. Anyway, so that came across as like, oh, could this be somebody? My initial impression was like, he's a pick-me guy. You know what a pick-me guy is? Like, he wants sisters to notice him. Yeah, white knight. He wants, hey, girls, look, I got you back here. This guy's talking about arguing with women. Don't worry.
Maybe you'll spend 2 seconds on my profile now.
Yeah, maybe someone will be interested in me. Yeah, those kind of people, right? And they'll be jealous of your marriage or jealous of your relationship or jealous of you, whatever it is. And they will critique you and they will say some hurtful and horrible things. or less hurtful because that stuff doesn't bother me, but some nasty stuff for no reason. Like, just took 2 pot shots at my marriage and my masculinity in like one tweet. I was like, who are you? Right? Where does that come from? Yeah, I think it does. It comes from jealousy. It's got to, because
Well,
you
I don't
can't.
know. That one might just be, baggage. It might not be jealousy. It might be just baggage that they have. Like you said, they're applying their baggage onto your situation and coming to these mad conclusions.
No, it's jealousy. I mean, I'm going to stay with that. I've got everything that anyone could be jealous about. All right, that's what we're going with. That's the story we're sticking to. No, like, I don't know. Everybody's different. I don't have it in me. I can't think of a time where I've like actively. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if I say this, then I'm lying. I'm trying to think of like when I've gone out of my way to just criticize someone like that online, but I think it depends how you see it, isn't it? Like, I've seen things that are wrong and I've critiqued them online, So maybe this individual and other individuals like him see what I say as wrong. Like, they genuinely see it as wrong and they genuinely think it deserves criticism, as opposed to hating for the sake of it, And you've always got to keep that in mind as a possibility, that maybe they genuinely think they're right and genuinely think that what you've said is wrong and want to, not everybody's a hater in that regard,
But haters are being genuine, but their judgment is just so clouded by
Do you think? Yeah.
their. Yeah, definitely, bro.
Although this,
The only people who are like aware of their negativity and they're doing it anyway are like trolls.
yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
But like a normal hater, bro, they think you're actually wrong and they're genuine, but their mind is so clouded by either jealousy or their own baggage, their own context, their own life is just in a negative place. That is the hater. That I would say that's a hater. But the troll is the one who's just like, yes, it's actually malicious.
And they like the reaction they're going to get out of you.
They like the reaction. They like to know that they poked you in the sensitive spot, That's the difference in my mind. But bro, yes, growing a presence on social media, it comes with all this stuff. It's part of the game. It's pretty difficult. Like, if I imagine myself with 100, 200K followers, subscribers, whatever, I think I would just not look at the comments. I think it would affect me and it would affect anyone. I would not look at the comments most likely. Yeah.
Although you will see personalities now that will absolutely capitalize on that, right? So they will deliberately market themselves as outlandish, and state some crazy things.
But then when they get the pushback on that, they'll be like, yes, it's working. They'll be happy.
Yeah. Like, even Andrew Tate is a marketing strategy. That's one that he employed, and there's been copycats ever since. There's quite a few copycats ever since. Even, I don't know if you ever came across that Mizzy kid.
Mizzy? No.
London? No. Yeah, he was doing outlandish stuff, like barging into people's houses and recording them on TikTok.
Oh, I heard about that. Okay.
Yeah, and other stuff, going into shops and doing crazy stuff and whatever. And then he started positioning himself as a bit of an intellectual and making videos talking about the Matrix and God knows whatever else.
Well, this guy needs to go back to branding school.
Yeah, well, the thing is, though, as irritating as he is, it did work in getting his name out there. He was, for a good week or two, he was definitely all over the screens. And I think I was in London driving past, I saw like a poster for an event that he's in. I was like, this kid was nobody not too long ago. And now, it works, really. And like I said a few episodes ago, when a couple of my tweets go viral, people accuse me of doing the same thing. I might say, like, with the whole rape allegation stuff, people thought I was deliberately being outlandish or whatever to get viral, essentially, which isn't my case. But there's others. I don't know if you've seen. Have you been? You're not really on social media that much, really. It's hard to. Like, FouseyTube has been going viral again. He's like streaming 24/7. He's just saying and doing some outlandish stuff.
I am on YouTube, so if stuff is on YouTube, then I see it. So I did see some stuff about him, but I didn't. It came across to me not like a new thing, but like he'd been doing that for months already. Or is it very new?
I don't know. I mean, you know, I remember him when it started, when his YouTube thing started, you know, Muslim comedy videos, whatever.
Yeah,
And then I,
that was a
I,
long time
he
ago.
popped, yeah, he popped up again when he was like doing some sort of concert thing, July 15th or whatever. He said that Drake was going to come to the concert, then he had a mental breakdown, whatever. And then from that, when that happened, I realized this guy is unwell. Like he's really unwell and he needs help.
Yes.
And then it faded off again, and now he's popped up again. This is a few years later now, and once again, you know, oh no, actually, in between those two events, he'd like lost a lot of weight. He got really like well built, and he was like talking about the Dean a bit more, and he was going to do a boxing match and all this sort of stuff.
Okay.
But once, and then yeah, like now it's just erratic. Like one day he'll post something about fame being bad and how he wants to turn to Allah and all this stuff, and then the next day it's just more filth,
But
right?
that's the exact illness he's got, which is what's he got? Bipolar. So he
Oh,
goes
is it? Is
between.
okay? Is that what he actually?
Yeah, I believe he's got bipolar, so that's why he goes from between mania and
Yeah,
depression, mania, depression. So
it's
yeah,
yeah,
Allah Yashfi. He's
it's
definitely like,
dangerous. I
we
mean,
can't you can't deny that one. Like that one is very, very obvious that he's just ill, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the person
But
that commented on the last one, it's like, yeah, if our sons,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
may Allah protect them, had that, I don't
I
think we'd
mean,
been denying it. Don't label him with bipolar, bro. And the
yeah.
guy's like,
It's it.
obvious.
It's bad, man. Like the last thing that happened was that I've seen on his Twitter was him getting detained by the police, and I think he was admitted into a mental health hospital.
Oh,
Um,
really? Bro,
yeah, and these
I
are the
was
effects
thinking
of.
about him, you know, like when I saw some of this stuff a week or two ago, and I was like thinking about his, because you know, in the old videos you see his mom and his dad, and then these like
Well,
miskeen, you know, miskeen ammo, just like imagine that, like all of that roller coaster.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You know, there was a video he posted where he was recording. It might have been part of a stream because he was streaming himself 24/7. So he was literally on stream. And one of them was like, his brother had sent him a voice note, I think, or was calling him. And he was literally giving a proper Islamic nasiha. Like, you need to fear Allah, you need to stop doing this stuff, stop, you know, X, Y, Z. I'm not going to go into what sins or whatever. But you know what I mean? He was literally, it was like almost like a sheikh was advising him. Like this brother, I think his actual brother maybe, was proper advising him. And he felt that advice so much so that he actually uploaded the video of him being advised, you know. So there's good there, of course. But the environment, and I've noticed, I don't know why the Twitter algorithm is doing this to me, but maybe it's because I followed Andrew Tate, and then I followed when Sneeko became Muslim. I don't know much about Sneeko, but I know he became Muslim, and I saw him with Sheikh Othman, is it Latif? I can't remember his name. What's his surname?
Bin Farouk,
What is
that's what he goes
Farooq,
by.
this one.
Hmm.
Yes. Start following him, and then like there's a bit of a obviously there's like a YouTube community of people that do this kind of content and streams and stuff. And he's then started popping up, and they're all like engaged with each other and all. But that scene, from the clips that I see, it just seems really degenerate and really surrounded with sin and temptation, right? You know, having that fame, having that money, having the
Living in those kind
it's
of
pure
parts of the world. Mm.
yeah, like that kind of content creation is just pure clout. It's not like they're artists. Okay, they're not an artist or like a musician, a movie star,
Mm.
where they
Mm.
create
Yes,
content
yes.
like you know what I mean, like art
Yeah. It's
content.
more like
Right?
reality TV stuff in it, basically. Yeah.
Exactly. They get on you like we're doing.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything that different than what we're doing, really.
Oh no.
But maybe they're doing it on their own, if
Mm.
you know what I mean. It's not like they make a video and say, I have a message to send, generally speaking. A lot of the time it's go on stream, react to stuff. Like they are literally, that world, I say they quite loosely, but that world is made up of people that literally are they purely exist for their audience.
They're
They're not
entertainers.
necessarily producing. Yeah.
They're what do they call them in the king's court? The jesters. They're the
But
jesters.
the difference is they they don't work for the king. They work purely for the mob. You know, whilst
Yes.
you could say like an
Yeah.
actor, like let's
Yeah.
take, I don't know, Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, right?
Okay.
He gets directed by a director to act a particular way. He has a job to fulfill, a script
Yeah.
to read. I perform this particular thing.
Yeah.
Whether the audience likes it or not, that's not necessarily my main thing. I'm getting paid to.
Mm-hmm.
But these people, their audience dictates directly to them what they want to see.
Yeah.
And when I was looking at Fuzi, I was just reminded with other YouTubers. There was another YouTuber called Etika. I think I mentioned him before. He was, I mean, he was quite a crazy guy anyway, but generally speaking, he started getting this manic kind of behavior towards the end of his life, and he ended up committing suicide. And all of it was projected on people's comments. Like if you go through the highlights of his old videos, when he starts acting crazy, you got comments of like 12, 13, 14-year-old boys just like putting clown emojis and encouraging and saying, oh, he's messing about, he's just playing, don't take him seriously, whatever, like egging him on, egging him on, egging him on.
Yeah.
Until the point where he just completely detached from reality. And even when he was actually having a mental breakdown, like someone called mental health, whatever, they sent the police came and raided his house. He's like going crazy and, you know, acting manic on stream. Whilst the comments, you can still see the comments are flying with laughing emojis. With this guy's life is literally breaking down, and people think it's a joke and people think it's comedy, and it's like a bit, it's part of the script. Until he literally committed suicide, right? And I worry about, you know, Fulsi Tube. I worry about anyone really in that kind of scene. Any Muslim that tries to step into that scene as well. Wallahu alam. But yeah, these are the dangers, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what. Like going back to status, what are these guys chasing? And I don't know. I guess they have something in their mind, but it's all kind of
It's
crazy.
the followers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if they're all the same, they're the same. You know, they've got the same wealth and all this sort of stuff. Then they're just competing for who's got the bigger number, who's the biggest YouTuber, who's the biggest Twitch streamer, who's the biggest this, right?
You know,
I
you said
Sorry.
these guys, like, they're not like they're artists, not like they're creating something. You know who is one of these bigger ones, and he's a bit silly, you could say, but I think he is. He's not like, it's not like reality TV. It's like Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is actually a serious guy, right?
Yeah.
In terms of,
he is.
like, he's like got this theatrics whole thing. He's obsessed with the videos, how they're edited, all of this madness. So I actually rate him. He's not like a kind of just a clown kind of guy.
Yeah, I saw they were doing like a award show. He didn't show up because he was too busy filming videos. He won some award, but he didn't show up because he's like literally. He even tweeted the other day like it's taken a toll on his health, but he's just it's a job for him in that sense. Like not just a job, but
A job and a passion.
meticulous. Yeah, it's meticulous. But you know what? I know this sounds like maybe for our audience and for you and me, it doesn't sound too relevant. But when they're doing surveys in schools and like 50% of the kids want to be YouTubers or whatever, I can't remember the stats, but it was something crazy. I think it's very relevant. I think it's really relevant. Yeah. But before I stopped my kids watching YouTube, because I have stopped them watching YouTube, they'd occasionally watch like some very not PG, what's below PG? Universal. That like some really like family friendly like streamer, right? And I know they are because I know who they were. But they would always say, "Oh, make sure to like and subscribe, whatever." My son started saying that every time he recorded a video. I was like, "Oh, I'm not having this." So I winded that down until it's now eliminated from the household. But yeah, this is a phenomenon. I think we can easily sit here and say, "Oh, nothing to do with us." I don't watch that stuff. Why has it got to interest me? But when you got kids, and especially if they're at school and stuff, and everybody's talking about their favorite streamer or whatever it is.
But like you said, like you've got a personal brand, right? You know what you were saying about fatherhood, this and that. Like that's what everyone is doing now. Even if your Instagram is on private, you choose what to share and not share on there. You try and curate an image people have of you. So and what's ultimately, what do you choose to show? You show things that elevate your status, whatever your definition of, or whatever type of status you want to elevate. That's what you choose to show. So it's like everyone's doing it now, bro, except those who are like not on social media. I mean, I guess, my dad has a WhatsApp picture, but that's about as far as it goes, right?
Nice, yeah.
What is my dad's WhatsApp picture?
Is it?
I think it's a landscape. I think it's not a picture of him.
This is your one. Yeah. I love it, bro. I love to analyze it. But you're right. It's like, do you have your real friends on? Like, do I share my Twitter to real people?
People that you know.
Well, actually, I don't really know real people anymore.
Really?
That's really sad to say, but I don't. I don't like have a local circle, so it doesn't really make sense to me. But I don't think I would. Like my Facebook is actually, Facebook is like people I know. I try and keep it to people I know, and I like to use it more now for people in Tunisia because that's what they kind of use, right? Do I like tweet like whatever I tweet on Twitter? Do I put that on Facebook? No, I don't. I don't at all.
Yeah.
But then again, like my mum was here earlier, and she's like, "Oh, do you want me to stay in the room or do you want me to leave?" I was like, "You can stay. It's fine." And then I was like, "Mum," I told my mum, I was like, "You do realize I don't think I'm any different in front of you than I am in front of Ameen, in front of anyone. My wife, my mum, my sister, they all follow me on Twitter. Like, I don't say anything that I would be ashamed to say in front of them. But there's definitely people that use social media in a way that, oh, I need to hide or block my family from seeing this side of me. I block my family from it.
I'm like that.
Really?
Depending on the topic and the thing, yeah.
I'm quite anyone like my whole family.
But you know what, bro, like
those have Instagram, follow me on Instagram.
What I understand about you is you're very open. Not just you, your whole family is open. Like open, I don't know, open-minded. I don't know what the word is. Actually, my family is definitely also on that side of things. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's where it comes from. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. But like I said, I think more. The reason I say Twitter and Mind Heist as well is because this is where your ideas can be manifested into the digital world, right? Like the way I speak to you now, I'd like to think that that's how I'd speak to you when the camera's off. But there are people that perform. They have a persona. They, and I think that's where the cracks start to show, because you could position yourself as this guru for relationships and women and whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're the real people that know you followed you, but what are you talking about? Like, who are you? You know what I mean? The status starts to crumble because
I kind of I'm feeling the beginnings of that, because the more I build my personal brand for like business purposes, the more I've got to decide like who I want to be. And it starts out being like, okay, it's for business purposes. Yeah. So for example, if I'm going to be like the face of the front row, I can't be silly, like very silly. That just wouldn't match. It would be bad for business. Yeah. Like, let's say, I don't think I'm very silly, but let's say I might want to censor that part of myself, right? Because it'll be bad for business. And so I do have those thoughts, like, for example, when it comes to leading young men, being a inspiration, role model, whatever, for young men, which no doubt helps the marketing of the front row, whatever. You've got a few areas. You've got wealth, you've got health, like how fit you are. You've got, I guess, like the whole marriage, kids thing, maybe. Maybe material possessions. You've got these things. Now, if you hide all of those, you're just weakening your marketing now, right? You need an element of that in it, right? So with me, it's like, out of those things I just mentioned, like, okay, the family side is private. Okay, obviously people are going to know I'm married and stuff, but that's that. Material things, I'm not really into that. Health, You know, I'm working on that. I went to the gym today actually, but it's not my thing, right?
Nice. Oh no.
So we just got the whole business side of things left, I suppose. So you can imagine, you can imagine that that's what I'm going to be putting out there. That is my, how do you
Yeah.
say it? My claim to fame, my reason why maybe I've got something to talk about. Like you said about you talking about relationships, you've been married for a while and you've got your 3 kids and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, mashallah. That's your claim to fame. So my claim to fame is business, blah, blah, blah. So naturally, bro, that's what you're going to see. You're not going to see the fact that, even though this is very much me, but I wouldn't show that. Like how, I don't know, this sounds bad, but like how tight I am with money, I wouldn't show that so much, right? Because people, what would do well for business is that people think that I could pretty much spend whatever I want on whatever I want. That looks better, right?
Right.
From a business point of view.
Yeah.
But the reality
Understood.
is, I might have the money, I'm not spending nothing. That's just how I
Yeah.
am. But ultimately, I'm saying that these are the struggles that have come and will come more and more. But I'm trying to stay firm, bro. Like I actually, because maybe part of my identity is like I like to be a bit of contrarian. So maybe I would take pride in the fact that, yeah, I can afford all these things and I don't buy them because I have discipline, because I think of long term, because I'm trying to invest instead of just show wealth for the sake of other people. Maybe, you know,
Yeah.
that it would be authentic for sure. And it's a new type of caricature, as a new type of archetype, right? Like, for example, Andrew Tate would never talk about that. He talks about spending money. He talks about brands and Bugatti and this and that. He talks about that. And then, like, those kind of people don't talk about, no, don't spend today, invest today so you can spend tomorrow. People don't, you know, it's a bit too sensible.
Maybe. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, inshallah, I'll try and keep it authentic whilst also doing what's right for marketing purposes.
Yeah. I think, one way you can get around that hurdle is that what you primarily are the quote unquote expert. I don't know if you want to define yourself as the expert in, but the wealth, the business aspect of it, that then achieving that gives you access to everything else,
It does
right? It gives
actually.
you access to fitness, it gives you access to family, it gives you access to whatever
Yeah,
else was on the list of things, right?
yeah.
Because you might not be like the fitness guru, you're not going to necessarily tell people what to do to be fit or to lose weight or whatever,
Yeah.
although that could be incorporated, because the fact that you made, having that wealth, well, then you can get the personal trainer, you can get the meal plan, you can get the gym membership. You're not going to necessarily teach them that,
Yeah.
but you're definitely going to open the door for it, for them to step through, and somebody who has that as part of their list of goals, they can't achieve, none of those goals can be achieved without time and money. And, money can buy time, really, and time can make money. So it's like, that's what you're, teaching them, is how to make use of your
Yeah.
time and your money, and how can you make money to give yourself more time, and whatever, vice
Yeah.
versa.
I mean, a lot of it is, I mean, it's funny. You're right. Like, if you have money, money solves all problems pretty much. But obviously, by the will of Allah, isn't it? It's like,
Of course, yeah.
you don't get money without the will of Allah. And then even if you have money, sometimes you can't spend it on what you want to spend it on. You know, Allah will stop you somehow, right? So, but
No,
you're
of
right,
course.
bro. Yeah. Like I told you I got a personal trainer. Did I tell you?
No, but you have now.
Okay. I got a personal trainer
no,
because I
no.
was like, this is an example of like using money to just solve stuff. I was like, okay, I've got a couple like focuses that I'm putting like effort to make sure I'm consistent with those things. I can't add a new thing. So I'm like, I still really need to like get like in shape, sort my health out. I haven't been focusing on it, working on it. And it's like, it's easy to be complacent because I'm not fat, but that's not good enough.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, just solve it by hiring someone to come and force me to do it, basically, right?
Yeah. Of course.
So that's what I did. But that's the thing. It's a fake flex because it's not even expensive over here, at least.
Maybe, yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, that is. But let's say you're in the UK and stuff. Yeah, you just solve it by just hiring, and it's the same thing. Get a personal trainer. So yeah, well, I did back and triceps today. It was good, bro. Personal trainer, sick.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
what I'm talking
like
about.
they force you to do it. They make sure your form is right. They just tell
Yeah,
you what to do next. They just tell you the weights to do. They just tell you and you just follow, you know.
yeah. Look, that's one thing. Like a lot of brain space is taken up by trying to see. Like you might be following a plan, and I've on and off followed a plan for a long
Mm,
time, but the
mm,
plan needs to be flexible enough because if you're going to a busy gym, then it's what you might have in your plan isn't available. So you need to have the knowledge to know what would fit instead, that kind of thing. Once you've got personal training, that's all taken care of. You just follow what they say. You
mm,
just you know
mm,
start when they tell you to start, stop when they tell you to stop, correct your form when they tell you to correct. Yeah. So yeah, of
mm,
course, and a lots of other benefits, lots and lots and
mm,
lots of other
mm.
benefits. So
He didn't really tell me
100%.
much on the diet side, but I have a friend who told me about that. And that's another thing where money helps because I remember back in the day when I was going to the gym, it would be like, damn, gotta have more of this cottage cheese. I never liked cottage cheese, bro. Never.
Yeah.
Never mind
100%.
having
Yeah.
tons of it. Because it's like the
Yeah.
cheapest,
100%.
the cheapest high protein food.
But if you're serious about that investment, you would, I know Faisal's got like a collab at the moment or sponsorship deal with a meal prep company. I was just at Freshly Grounded the other day, and he was mentioning I
Yeah.
can't remember the meal prep company, but that, for example, that's taken care of. Forget calorie counting, forget macro counting. It's all done.
Mm,
Boom. Order. Here's my meal.
mm,
Out of sight, out of mind. That kind of thing. Yeah, that's money
mm,
can give
mm,
you that. It can
mm,
take away a lot of the thinking,
mm,
buy you more time.
mm. I'll
You know.
tell you what, I don't know if this is a status thing, but something that I would be tempted by is, there's a book by Ryan Holiday. It's all his books are around same kind of style, right? But there are two that are different, or maybe two or three that
Oh,
are different. One of them is, what's it called, bro? It's the story of that wrestler who, it's like is
oh,
it Hulk Hogan? That wrestler
could have been.
and Gorka, the media company, and Peter Thiel. Okay.
These are the two
Um,
ones I never read.
let me find the name. Ryan Holiday. Just put Hulk Hogan. Conspiracy. It's called Conspiracy. Peter Thiel, Hulk
Conspiracy.
Hogan,
Right.
Gorka, and something. Right. This
Right.
book, yeah. This is sick. This is sick.
Really?
Basically, yeah. So Peter Thiel. No, first Gorka. Gorka is a media company, or they were a media company. They basically were like gossip, all these gossip kind of magazine blogs. But
Yeah.
I think they focused on like the tech world maybe, or like not the Hollywood stuff basically, or maybe not just the Hollywood stuff. And so they released a story or something about Peter Thiel saying that
Right.
he's gay,
Right.
with like proof or something. And he did
Right.
not like that whatsoever.
Right.
I don't know if it's true or not, but he did not like it at all. And Peter
Mm.
Thiel, he's part of what they call the PayPal mafia. These are the guys that started PayPal, six of them.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is one of them. Peter Thiel, the founder of LinkedIn, forgot his name. A lot of these big guys, all of them are shifting their weight all over Silicon Valley, right? So Peter Thiel's one of them, PayPal mafia. So he's a billionaire at this point. So he basically hires a lawyer. He's like basically like a hitman. He's like, look, your job, I'm going to pay your salary, full-time salary. I'm going to give you a blank check for budget, whatever you need. And you're taking this company down. However you do it, it's up to you. Yeah.
Right.
And this book is all about that story of how he made that happen. And he succeeded, Yanni. So I think it took about 2 years. And he got
Oh
them
wow.
basically to file for bankruptcy. I think in the end, the way they did it was they got them, they found other enemies of this Gorka media company. And
Yeah.
they said, if you sue them, we will fund you. We'll help you with the
Right.
case. And they funded so many cases against them that they couldn't keep up the legal fees and stuff like that. And
Right.
they had to file for bankruptcy. And
It's
here,
crazy.
here's Peter Thiel at the end standing triumphantly. But the thing is that the thing that is attractive to me is he just did it from all behind the shadows, right?
Right.
Like no one knew it was him, and it's like you just see him in the back with the binoculars, and if you're like, has it been done on the walkie-talkie? Is the job done?
It's
Yeah.
money, baby. That's
So
what money talks.
yeah, that kind of stuff is interesting. Interesting. That that's
Crazy,
what I'm
isn't it?
saying. Like the brand clothes and the cars, it's not very attractive. This stuff is more attractive to me.
It's the power, isn't it? Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. There's a lot you could, I can imagine. I can imagine, but it blinds you as well, doesn't it? Because
Of course.
from down here, you could
Hmm.
say, and you see it all the time.
Hmm.
Oh, these people, they could solve this and they could solve this problem.
Hmm.
And I always wonder, because right from here, it looks really easy for me to say if I had that much money, I could do X, Y, Z to the world.
Yeah.
I wonder if I really was in that position, knowing my personality, my psychology, my weaknesses, my strengths, would I really enact on, you know, the um, the wonderful and charitable things that I dream of? Would I? I'd
Hmm.
like to think I would, but would we actually in reality?
Hmm. Hmm.
You know?
Yeah. And Allah only gives us what we can handle, inshallah. And inshallah, we handle it well, whatever we got. And wallah, it's true, bro. It's money, feeling wealthy, feeling powerful. It's all tests from Allah, yani. I mean, actually, I wouldn't even say test, because test could be something neutral that you pass or fail. But actually,
Mm,
feeling like you're powerful, it's not even just a test. It's a calamity, because you should never feel powerful truly,
mhm,
because nothing
mhm,
happens without the will of Allah. So you shouldn't feel powerful, right? You could be relatively powerful in the dunya sense and be aware of that, but
mm.
to actually feel powerful, I think that's incorrect.
Yeah, you have options, you have access. Does that equate to power? I don't know.
Well, Allah
You
needs
can
to
be
give you the
blinded by
go
that.
ahead. That's the
What's that
ultimate thing.
saying? Is it pride comes before the fall or something? Something comes before the fall. I
Hmm.
can't remember the saying, but I'm
Hmm.
sure it's very apt for what we're talking about.
Hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, we are, well, it's Maghrib time for me. I think we're out of time, bro.
Sign off time. Yeah, I enjoyed
Sign
this,
off.
bro. Analyzing our status symbols.
Our
It,
pride and
it'd be good if
arrogance.
people would share their like. I think we were quite vulnerable a little in this episode. It'd be good if people could share, like, because I think there are a lot of ways that people flex or things that people seek in the like symbols of status that it's not the typical. It's not the typical Balenciaga, this and that. It's other stuff. I'm
Mm.
interested in that. I'm interested, like you said, flexing with multiple wives or flexible. Like, I'm interested by this. So if people want to share, that would be interesting for me. Thanks in advance.
Gonna put it. Yeah, let's do it. Telegram group. Hit the Telegram groups and share.
Yeah,
Because
inshallah.
I like our little cozy Telegram group. I
Cozy.
really do. It's cozy, proper cozy in there. Sisters got their own one. I don't know what they talk about there. I don't even know if anyone talks or if anyone's in it. Nothing to do with me. Have
It might
fun.
be more active. I'm not sure. I think it might be.
Yeah, Allah Alam.
Okay,
Allah Alam.
subhanakallahumma bihamdik, shadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.